Welcome to Alumni Football USA Fantasy Football Edition. This is week 1. Are you excited, Chance?
Yes, it has finally come. Real football.
It's finally here. No more preseason, no more waiting for the starters. Now we actually get to see the full players, full starters, full games.
Games that matter.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be awesome. And we have football until February. So, yes. So much, yes.
Fantasy season until, what, December?
Something like that, yeah. But,
That's
at
good.
least it's football.
So anyways, first thing we're going to do today, we're only going to do basically one thing, and that's we'll go over each team and then their matchup, and basically we're going to have a competition between each other.
Throughout the season. We're going to see who's going to win overall, and what we're going to do is we'll each pick teams to win the matchups for each week, and whoever ends up winning the most, that's the winner. But we'll talk about top players from each team, and if we see anybody that's like a big red flag, we might point them out too.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll pick our team we think is going to win, and then also the best player we think, and like he was saying, the red flags, or if it's going to be a tough pick between two different people. So, for instance, Chiefs versus Patriots. I would pick the Patriots to win. He gets to choose a team to win.
I would pick the Patriots too. I'd be dumb if I didn't pick the Patriots to win. And then on top of that, though, like the top performer, though, I think that Tom Brady's gonna have a game, but we're gonna choose different people. So, Ty, who do you think is gonna have a great game?
So if I pick first and say I do pick Tom Brady, then he's got to pick a different player. It could be on the same team, but it just has to be a different player. So, and that way, we give you a little bit of insight of who we think the best guys are. And we'll mention if we think there's really a guy to stay away from that's just going to have a horrible game, we'll point that out. Unless it's, somebody like Deshaun Kaiser, you're not going to be starting him anyways for the Browns. But, if it's a guy that, for instance, Alex Smith or something, we'll probably just say, we probably won't say anything because you won't be starting him. So with that, we'll get into it. So very first game, Patriots versus Kansas City. And
Tomorrow night. Thursday Night Football. It's back. So let's go with picks. Who do you think is going to win this game?
Of course, New England. You can't.
I can't argue with you. It's going to be New England. It's going to be a defensive game, though.
I think it'll be close, but
I think New England's going to take it too.
Yeah.
So performer of the game.
I'll let you pick first.
It's toss-up for me. I would say Tom Brady, but I'm going to go with Gronkowski here. I think I'm going to... He's healthy. Says he feels good, feels lean. I think Gronkowski's going to come out and show that he's still the number one tight end in the league.
Absolutely, and I actually would agree with that, but I can't. And I actually don't think Tom Brady plays super well against the Kansas City Chiefs. However, I don't think it matters. I think he's still going to be the top performer because I can't pick Gronkowski, of course. So Tom Brady's the guy I'm picking. Any red flags or duds or anything you see?
Red flags, I would say, or things to watch out for, as a developing thing would be to watch that Chiefs backfield. Without Spencer Ware as their starter, there's a couple running backs in the mix. If one emerges as a top guy, keep an eye on him on waiver wires. You might want him next week.
Yeah, and I say my little tip would be don't play any Patriots running backs week 1.
I would never play a Patriots running back.
Don't do it week 1, especially. I don't even know who's lining up to be the starter, and if it is something where you see 3 or 4 of them playing in the game, then yeah, don't play in week 2 either. But until it's a clear-cut guy, you are going to waste a spot putting in a guy like James White that may not do well, or Gilsley, or Burkhead, or they're all high on certain guys, but that's happened in the past, and they've never been a consistent guy until Blunt. So,
and he's gone.
Yeah, and he's gone. So you just have to wait on that one. And so next team is going to be Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Houston Texans.
You go first on this one.
I'll go first. Who am I picking to win? Of course, I'm going to pick the defense, and that is Houston. I mean, people say Jacksonville has a good defense, but until I see them winning games, that doesn't really matter.
Plus, their whole quarterback with Blake Bortles is kind of a question mark right now. I'll have to agree with you. I think Texans are going to win, but also the other motivation is I think with the Hurricane Harvey stuff, I think the Texans are going to be fired up. I know J.J. Watt will. I mean, that guy's done some tremendous charity work, and he raised over $20 million towards that fund.
Yep, it's pretty impressive. That's for sure. I think defense.
Defense, so that's who you're going to call
Clowney and him. But top performer. That's a good question. That's a good question. I might go with the defense. I hadn't even thought of that.
It might be. Honestly, it might be a bunch of pick sixes with the way Blake Bortles has been looking in preseason.
Yeah, that's interesting. I can't do it. I can't pick a defense for it to be a top performer, but it could happen.
Be a good defense to start.
Yeah, I think my guy is going to be Lamar Miller. In that game, I see them running the ball because they'll have the lead, in my opinion. So, who do you got on that game?
That game's a tough one for me to pick, but I think what's going to end up happening is Leonard Fournette's going to get a lot of touches, I think. So I think the fact that he's going to get a lot of touches, it might be in garbage time, but I think he's going to get some good fantasy points. He'll get some yards from scrimmage, and he'll probably get maybe a touchdown or two. I think he'll definitely... It's Maurice Jones-Drew effect. When you're in Jacksonville, you run the ball a bunch, and you lose games.
Yep, that's pretty much true. It doesn't make sense, but yeah, pretty much true. All right, next game is the Jets and Buffalo.
This is a tough one. The reason it's a tough one is both teams aren't that great, and I can't pick anybody from the Jets at all. For winning the game, I'll go with the Bills because I just don't see the Jets winning anything. I'm sorry if you're a Jets fan. But
you might have the number one pick this year.
You might have the number one pick. That's always a good thing.
Between you, the Niners, and the Browns. So we'll see.
But for me, I would say that the Bills are going to win, and I think my top performer would be LeSean McCoy.
I agree, but I can't. So I do also pick the. Gotta hit our microphone there. It's okay. It's all right. All right. I know your name's Mike, but you're not a person. Okay. Anyways, Buffalo, yes, that's my pick as well. But I have to pick a different person besides LeSean McCoy. So I guess I'm gonna pick Tyrod Taylor. He's on my fantasy team, so hopefully he plays well. I kind of doubt it, but I'm hoping here.
I'm gonna throw out an under the radar one though.
Under the radar, there you go.
Jordan Matthews might have a good game, but the only reason I say that is because Jets are terrible, and Jordan Matthews is the only guy on that team. I mean, I don't know anybody else on that team that's going to catch the ball. So,
I would say a tip for me is watch the receivers on the Jets. They have to have one that's going to score points. They have to. I don't know at some point. I don't know who it's going to be, but watch them, see who it is, the top performers, see if they actually get a lot of targets.
Someone's got to be.
And then pick up that guy with a lot of targets if you need an extra receiver.
And the other thing is Curse is out there too now, and watch as he develops and learns the playbook. He might be. I mean, he's the most talented player out there, but it doesn't mean he's going to get all the targets this week.
Yep, he's got to learn the playbook too. We'll see how long that takes him. It might be quick. I don't know the transition time for that, but also Jeremy Curley has looked into signing with them. He played with them for a long time and could be a guy that emerges to be a fantasy starter, but it's kind of doubtful. So, all right, next game, Atlanta versus the Bears.
This is a tough one to pick who's going to win. Never mind, it's just the Falcons. The Falcons are going to win this game. Ty, I know you're going to pick the Falcons too.
Yeah.
Come on, it's the Bears.
Unless somehow Trubisky starts, then I'd pick Trubisky to win the game.
Okay. You're talking
I'm kidding.
Are you thinking about the 28-3 lead blown? I mean, come on, that's over. That was last year.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. For this game, I just don't see the Bears competing with the Falcons. The Falcons are a top 5 team, and the Bears are just...
Yeah.
They're the Bears. Top performer for me, I think I'm going to go with Julio Jones. I think he's going to torch that secondary, and it takes one play for him to get a huge touchdown.
Yep, and I got Freeman on that, the running back. So once again, I'm going with hopefully they have the lead early and they run the ball. So that one's pretty easy for me to stay away from. I got really
any Bears receivers, stay away from.
Yeah, until you find out who's the main star guy is.
You might want to, I'd say stay away from maybe Jordan Howard, their running back too, the Bears running back this week, because the Falcons are pretty good on defense on the line. So
they're going to score points too, and typically you don't want to run.
Yeah. They're going to be throwing the ball a lot. They're going to get Trubinsky some.
Now, if you got a defense, play the Falcons. Get a lot of picks against Glenn, and that would be nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so next matchup we got is Tennessee versus Oakland.
This one's the one where we're probably going to disagree. This is a toss-up.
I have a rough time picking this game because I think both of these teams are going to be the big up-and-coming, especially the Titans are going to be a lot better than they were last year, and then Oakland may not have a better record than they had last year, but I think they're a better team. So this is a tough one for me, but I have to pick the Titans to start out the gate only because they're healthy and they're going to be running the ball really well. And I know that Oakland can't stop the run very well, and their defense isn't very good. So I think the game's going to be decided on a field goal, but I'm thinking it's the Titans that are going to be kicking that field goal last.
This is the first one we're gonna differentiate on. I think the Raiders are going to win. So we finally have a standstill where if I'm right, I take the lead. If you're right, you take the lead.
You have to have at least one that you disagree on.
I know. Well, some of those games are kind of hard to disagree on.
I know. I have a couple more coming up I think I'm going to disagree on, but we'll see.
Top performer. I'm going to go with... So this is a tough one, too, because I do think that there's going to be a bunch of stuff going on with both teams. I think it's going to be an offensive power game.
Yep.
I'm going to go with Derek Carr. I think he's going to throw for 400 yards or something. I think he's going to be insane. He's going to be torching.
That's crazy.
I'm telling you.
I mean, he's got a blowout happening over here.
I see it happening. I don't see any defense being played.
I have DeMarco Murray being the high scorer. I don't know what he's going to have, but I think I think they can run the ball so well. The Titans, they ran it so well last year on any team, so that's going to be tough to stop. Key players to look out for. Maybe not.
Maybe look at Derrick Henry, just kind of see how many touches he gets in the game, because he could be a flex guy if he gets enough.
Yeah.
I wouldn't start him this week, but I'm just saying for future reference. That's pretty much... Marcus Mariota is another good guy to
Lynch,
watch.
See if they play Lynch all 3 or 4 downs, depending on... It depends.
That's another good one too. Yeah, Marshawn Lynch.
He might only be in there once or twice. I don't know.
We'll see.
I expect him to be in there 3 times. But...
I hope he runs for a lot of yards because I have him in fantasy. So we'll see. But no, he's getting back to the game, getting used to everything. So we'll see how it goes.
See how quickly they throw him out there. So next game is Arizona versus Detroit. I don't like this game as a fantasy football guy. I have no idea what to do.
This game's a tough game. There's just a lot.
I can see so many players playing well.
I could see a lot of players playing well. Detroit's got so many no-name guys that could pop up and do tons of stuff. This is a tough game because even when you watch Detroit play football against other teams, usually the games are pretty low scoring and they're kind of defensive sort of games. But even then, I'm leaning towards the Cardinals winning this one, just because I think the Cardinals are a better team on paper. I also would say that I think Carson Palmer is going to be on a tear this year, and I think this is going to be the first game of his, I'm still here tour. Because I think he got hurt with that ACL and then never got a chance to really throw himself out there, so I think Carson Palmer's going to have a game.
So this is kind of a random stat I just found out. The Cardinals have won the last 3 matchups. And the last one they played was 42-17 against the Lions in 2015. Kind of surprised by that because I thought the Lions won most of these games. That's interesting. Gotta go with the Cardinals too then. I was thinking about Lions, but I gotta go with the Cardinals after seeing that. Yeah, my top performer is going to be... I'm gonna say Abdullah. Go out on a limb, only because I have him in fantasy.
Only because you have him in fantasy. That's exactly right.
It's either him or Fitzgerald. So
I think Stafford could have a game too. I think he could have a pretty good game. But the only reason I say that is because Stafford is a very consistent fantasy scorer. He will get you 1 or 2 touchdowns. He'll get you 20 points a game.
Yeah, I mean, truly, to be honest, I think it's either going to be Fitzgerald or Stafford, and I think that makes a lot more sense. And I would agree with him that Palmer's probably going to be the guy, but I can't, so... Once again, we move on. Pittsburgh or the Browns?
I mean, this is another game that we're going to agree on, Ty, because we both know that Pittsburgh's an actual good team.
They get a bye week 1.
I know.
What's the deal?
There's a lot of teams getting by this.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of matchups this week that are like
it's pretty
that.
bad. Pittsburgh's going to kill them. I'm kind of hoping the Browns don't score, but they might score once.
They might. It's going to get garbage
10
time.
10 to 35.
Something like
38.
that. It's
10 to 38.
It's going to be a garbage time points, too. It's not going to be anything special. Yeah. I think top performer is going to be Antonio Brown.
Yeah, see, and I got Bell.
Yeah, it's either one of those. It's going to be one of those two guys. I mean, there's no defense to be playing on them. So
stay away from Kaiser.
Stay away from anybody.
I feel bad for any rookie quarterback that has to play on that team and start off playing the Steelers. That just is not.
The Steelers got better in their secondary with Joe Hayden, and they traded for some safety. I can't remember his name, but they're looking better on defense as well. So I would just stay away from anybody on the Browns on offense.
Who's going to score the one touchdown for the Browns? That's what I want to know.
You want me to say Isaiah Crowell because you have him on your fantasy team, but I'll say Deshaun Kaiser's going to run one.
That's what, that was my other thinking. I think he may run one in. It also could be the defense, maybe a fumble, thinking of a fumble for a touchdown.
Something ridiculous. It's going to be a blowout. That's a done game.
Yeah, that game's bad. I would say Corey Coleman. I'm going to give it to Corey Coleman, the one touchdown on a reverse or something stupid. All right. Eagles, Redskins.
Now, being an Eagles fan, I have to be against the Redskins, and I will say that I think the Eagles are going to win. The only reason I say that too is
I should just pick every team against the Eagles this year.
You should, and just see what happens because you'll lose.
I'll end up losing.
No, the reason I picked the Eagles this week is I don't think the Redskins are that great. I mean, their offense is pretty good, but that defense is still just. It doesn't seem like it's going to match up very well against Carson Wentz, Alshon Jeffrey, LeGarrette Blount. I just don't see it happening. And I think the Eagles' defense is actually way better than the Redskins' defense. They've upgraded a lot there. I mean, their rookie first-round pick, Derek Barnett, looked like a beast in preseason. You've got one of the best lines, I think, in the league. And, I mean, the corners, they upgraded those as well. Ronald Darby is going to be really good on that team, too.
I think so. I think it's I think this one's a rough one for me to pick because I do see the Eagles being a lot better.
It can go either way, though. The Redskins always...
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering how long it's going to take to sync on offense with the new weapons and everything. That's kind of my thing with Washington is they have a couple new guys too, but I just feel like they're going to score well still, especially in week 1. I don't know. That's going to be a close one for me, but I'm going to have to give the nod to Washington.
All right, another disagreement.
Yeah.
Let's go Philly. Let's go let me down again, all right?
They're just so good on offense. It's hard to.
Plus,
I got Pryor, so he's got to score at least twice.
Who do you think's going to be the
Pryor?
You think Pryor's going to be your guy? Okay. Well, for me, the thing that I find interesting about this matchup is that they have Josh Norman, and Josh Norman likes to talk a lot of crap.
Yeah, it is.
And he's going to probably try to lock down, even though he doesn't lock down anybody, Alshon Jeffrey, and I think Alshon Jeffrey is going to give him the business.
He might lock him down for 2 touchdowns, maybe.
Yeah, maybe 2 touchdowns. We'll see.
Only 2. Yeah.
But I think the performer of this game actually is going to be Carson Wentz. I think Carson Wentz is going to look really good in this game, and I think he's going to kind of be a stud this week.
That's hard. This is that's such a hard one for me to pick because I see the Eagles playing well.
But then you can also see them playing terrible. Trust me, I'm an Eagles fan. Yeah, I've seen it both ways.
I don't know what to do on this one because I just think that, like you say, I think the Redskins are pretty consistent on offense. Defensively, I don't think they're that great, but it only takes like a turnover or 2 for the game to be completely different. So that this is a toss-up for me, but I'm going with my fantasy guy, which is Terrell Pryor and Washington. So I kind of put a lot of stock into hoping that they're going to be good on offense this year, and so if I'm getting that wrong, I'm going to get everything wrong. So, so next matchup is the Ravens and the Bengals.
This one's kind of a toss-up for me too, because honestly that whole division up there, the Bengals, Steelers, it's just everybody up there. They all play really good defense. Even the Browns, like when they get in like a division game, it's a tight game with like the scoring only going to 13. It's
weird. They play really good division games, and it's really hard to figure that out.
For this one, I'm gonna go with the Bengals winning this one. I think they might win this one. Ty's looking up the history.
I'm looking up the history because I'm gonna go with the team that wins more often.
Well, technically, it's pretty close.
Bengals 2 out of 3.
It's pretty close.
It is pretty close. They had some close games too. I was just kind of surprised. I kind of figured the Ravens would be better just because I think their coach is much better.
It's division games. It's totally different with that division.
Yeah, that's a tough. I'm gonna go with the Bengals as well. Just because I've never been a fan of Flacco. I don't think he's got what it takes. He had 3 good games in his life, and they were on the playoffs.
Plus, he's still kind of hurt right now. We don't know exactly how he's going to be recovering from that.
I like the Red Rocket. Andy Dalton.
That's who you're going to take for your performer?
I think so, yeah.
I think I'll go with his compadre, AJ Green.
Yeah.
I think those guys will score all over him.
Yep, I think you're right. Guys to look out for.
Danny Woodhead, watch him.
Yeah, he might do really well.
Or he might do really bad. I don't know.
Yeah. I think the one thing with Danny Woodhead is you got to see if Flacco is checking down to him. Because if he does, and they actually are using him in the offense, he'll be a good player for the whole year. If they're not throwing to him or he's not even out there on those check down plays,
it's not going to matter.
He's just going to be a backup. So look to see if Harbaugh uses him or not. The Colts versus the Rams. I think the Rams are finally going to get a win. It's been a long time, but...
It's been a long time, and I think they are too, because the Colts they're terrible on defense already.
Bad.
And then they don't have Andrew Luck, and Tolzien isn't going to win the game for them.
No.
And I honestly, like we were talking about it earlier, I think Jared Goff's going to have a good game. I think he's going to have his breakout NFL game.
Everybody's going to be like, they were right to pick him, and then the rest of the season is going to happen.
It's just going to be all downhill from there. But
kind of a bad setup for him.
I think my player, though, is going to be Todd Gurley. I'm going to go with Gurley.
Todd Gurley. I'm going to actually go with Jared Goff as the starter to have the highest fantasy game. I don't know. I figure it's the only time I'm going to pick him, so it's my one chance.
Anybody's going to pick him.
Yeah. Anybody look out for that in that game? I don't even think so.
Not really. Not even worth it.
I don't even pay attention to Colts players.
Well, you can't. Well, they don't have Andrew Luck in, so no point.
Yeah. It's not worth it. Seahawks and Green Bay.
This is a tough one too.
I hate this matchup. For fantasy football, I hate this matchup because you expect Green Bay to play well because they have a good offense, but then you have the Seahawks defense that shuts them down, and so then you got a low-scoring game because the Seahawks offense is really not that good versus a Packers defense who isn't that great, but they're finally healthy. So it all just kind of washes out, and then you get like this 17-20 game, and you're like,
and it's over by a field goal.
Or a Hail Mary and it's like a defensive touchdown, and then like, a running back scores.
It's awful.
It's terrible for fantasy football.
It's fun to watch, though.
It is a fun to watch game, and that's what everybody says. They love putting that matchup in there because it is fun to watch, and it is because you don't know what's going to happen. It's like these two powerhouses that this random stuff happens, and you're like, okay, it's like this perfect
storm
matchup. Yeah, and I don't like it for fantasy. So top performers.
Who are you going to pick to win first?
I want to pick Green Bay to win. All right, I'm
going to split it with you. I'm going to pick the Seahawks to win.
Yeah.
The only reason is the only reason I'm going with it is I think the Seahawks defense is just going to be too much, and I think that their offense, even though it is lackluster, is just too much. But it's that Green Bay defense just isn't there. There's just nothing there to entice me to think that they're going to do anything about it.
Yep.
So,
this is weird. Green Bay's won the last 2 times, but they didn't win the time before that. So
we'll see. I'm trying to get games up on Ty.
Yeah, I think it depends on who's at home, and this time Green Bay's at home. So,
but it's not cold.
Yeah. It's not cold yet, but it's I don't know. I'm gonna give it to Green Bay. I don't really have too much logic behind it, but
top performer for me is going to be interesting. I think this one. I saw an update on Twitter today that Thomas Rawls is probably going to be out.
Oh, really?
I think Eddie Lacy.
Eddie Lacy is a superstar.
I think Eddie Lacy's going to have a game.
I can't really disagree with that. Yeah, there's a lot of players to pick in this game that may not play well. I have Jordy Nelson on my fantasy team, and I'm hoping he plays well. But with Richard Sherman on the other side, it's kind of rough. Man, this is such a hard one for me. You got both quarterbacks that could play well. I mean, Russell Wilson typically plays well.
Jimmy Graham might be good.
Jimmy Graham could play well. I think Bennett will have a touchdown, at least maybe 2. I can't even make a decision on this one.
That's what you need to just say right there. It's not a good week to pick a player out of this one, honestly. Unless your quarterback is freaking
Russell Wilson, maybe? I'm going to go with Russell Wilson.
Okay. All right. Well, if your quarterback's Aaron Rodgers, you're going to start Aaron Rodgers too. So.
Yeah, you have to start him, and you have to start Jordy Nelson, but
don't make a decision based off this if you have an option.
Yeah.
This is not a good game to base players off of.
Yep, just play him, get on to the next week.
Yep.
Okay, Carolina versus San Francisco. This will be fun to see Christian McCaffrey play back in Northern California, where we're from, actually, if you didn't know. Yeah, so that'll be interesting, an interesting matchup to see him playing against the team that he probably grew up liking and rooting for. So, I think the Panthers are going to win.
I do too.
I think it's going to be a pretty solid victory. I see. Do I get to pick the guys?
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to pick Cam Newton.
Dang it! That's who I was going to pick.
Super Cam.
Cam Newton's going to have a day.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick. I think I'm going to stick with McCaffrey. I think he's going to have like a debut game. I think he's going to come out and he's going to show what he's got against that defense.
That would have been my second pick anyways, so that's pretty good. I don't even really want to talk about the Niners, to be honest.
There's nothing worthwhile there.
Wait until you see what their offense is actually like before you play anybody on the Niners, except for maybe Carlos Hyde. But
even then,
I never picked him in any league, so
just stay away.
Yeah. New York Giants versus the Dallas Cowboys. I hate this game. I can't do it.
It's a toss-up.
I'm going to pick the Giants because I just can't pick the Cowboys. Can't do it.
I am an Eagles fan, and I hate the Cowboys so much, but I'm going to pick the Cowboys.
Yeah.
But I hate the Giants too, so I mean, it's a little bit easier for me.
But I can't stand the Cowboys.
I just see the Cowboys winning because they have Elliott this week. That's what I'll put it down to.
Here, you pick him as your fantasy star?
I pick him as my fantasy guy.
Okay.
I think
I'm going to go with Brandon Marshall.
Brandon Marshall? That's a good pick.
I don't know him because of Odell Beckham's out. Or not out, but he's nursing an injury still.
Nursing an injury. They're going to shadow him. They're going to double team him. I like that pick too.
I think they're going to use him as a decoy. That's why he's not completely certain that he's going to be in or out. So it's all just game strategy.
Touchdowns. That's what Brandon Marshall's all about.
Brandon Marshall. At least one touchdown in this game. That's for sure. They don't have a running game. Eli Manning hasn't been super consistent.
Watch Dak Prescott, please. I understand that he had a great year last year.
Yeah.
I don't start him right away. Make sure you watch and see if he's going to.
You might want to start him in week 1, only because of Elliott.
I would say that Elliott's going to help, but that Giants secondary, Janoris Jenkins.
Yeah, he's right. I don't know about that one.
It's a tough one.
Definitely don't start in week 2. Saints versus Vikings. I was shocked. I watched preseason, and the Saints defense, for the first time I've ever seen, look really good. I don't really understand why. I keep watching plays. Manti Te'o's their linebacker, and he's like incredible. I don't get it.
It's that invisible girlfriend.
He's like, I don't even understand. It doesn't make sense. I watched it. He had like fumble recoveries. He was tackling everybody, safeties. And to top it off, like the whole defense was playing that way. I think the Saints could be a shocker this year. It's hard to pick them to win a lot of games, but they could be on the bubble of being in a wild card team this year. And I have them beating Minnesota for week 1. For as much hype is behind Minnesota, I have the Saints winning.
How much? Who's your guy?
Who's my guy in the game? I'm gonna go with Adrian Peterson against his old team, just because I really wanted to pick that.
I think I'm going to split you again on this one. The only reason I am is because I trust in that Vikings defense.
The Vikings D.
And I think that the Vikings defense is going to give them some trouble. I think that the Vikings might win this one, and I think it's going to be close. I'm gonna call the Vikings win this one, and my star player is going to be Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook.
He's going to show the Vikings fans that Adrian Peterson's old. Not just kidding.
Yeah.
he's gonna show the Vikings fans who's the new guy in town.
This
I
is
think he's
definitely-
gonna have a good game. I think.
I'm glad the NFL gave us this game for the first game, because it's definitely one of those that you want to watch.
Definitely.
That I'm excited to see that game. I personally think it's going to be an extremely low-scoring game.
I do too.
I think it's
going to
gonna
be a
be like-
defensive game, and I think it's going to come down to a field goal.
I think it's going to be like 17,
13.
Yeah, 13. There you go. It's like I don't even think it's going to be 14. I think it's going to be like field goals. So
Yeah.
how about 17-10 is my prediction.
All right.
Saints win.
Watch it be like a 40-point to 43-point.
Yeah. I don't even see how this. I don't see how the Vikings could score that many points.
I don't either, but because they have Bradford, but you never know.
Cook would have to have like 3 touchdowns.
He could do it.
He'd have to
I
have
hope-
3 touchdowns. Bradford would have to throw for like at least 2 touchdowns.
Which is a lot for him.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't see it happening. It can't be. If anything, the Saints would blow them out, but I don't see that happening with the defense is too good. Whatever.
Final game of the week.
Final game of the week, and then we have 2 teams on a bye. That's really funny for week 1. Oh, that kind of sucks. Does that mean our fantasy guys are on a bye?
Yeah.
Do I have anybody on the...
Dolphins or Bucks. You have Jameis Winston. You have Evans.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah.
I have to sit Evans week 1?
Yep.
Oh, that sucks.
So there you go. There's your warning. If you have anybody on the Bucks or
All right.
Dolphins, don't play
Here you
them.
go. A hurricane is affecting me for the first time ever. I'm living in California.
I've lived through a hurricane. This guy knows nothing.
Yeah, I know. Oh man, that'd be awful to be in a hurricane.
It was pretty awful. Didn't have power for like 2 weeks.
What
Hey,
else would you do? Can you just like leave?
No, you just play like board games and stuff, and then like they bring a generator, and then you like use that for like an hour a day, and then
I've been in like almost a couple like 2-3 tornadoes. Like
that's pretty scary.
those were pretty bad. I don't know. That's pretty off topic. All right. The Chargers versus the Broncos. Who's gonna win the week bye?
Who would have won?
Yeah, who would have won? That's what I'm trying to say. It's the
Who
week
would've won?
11 matchup now.
Who would have won? I would say that the Bucks would have won.
I think so too.
I think Jameis Winston's a better player than anybody on either of those teams. It is him and
Yeah, I hate to say it.
Jay
'Cause I
Cutler's
don't
on
like
that
him.
team. Jay Cutler's on that
That
team.
guy.
I can't have any vote of confidence with Jay Cutler as a quarterback. Sorry.
I would pick, my fantasy guy in that game. Well, do you want to pick Mike Evans? Would you
Yeah,
go with him?
I'll go with
Yeah,
Mike
I'll
Evans.
let you pick him because I want to pick somebody on the Dolphins. I actually think the running back for the
J.J..
Dolphins. Yeah. Or like my cousin says, AJIJK or something like that. He makes up some name. Starts saying the alphabet. You know who you are. Anyways, yeah. So, okay, back to
Real games.
real games. Chargers versus the Broncos. 2 good defenses. I would say 1 good defense and another great defense.
Good defense, great defense. It's
Yeah.
good.
You got a good offense playing against a bad offense. Not really a bad offense, but a bad QB.
Bad QB makes that offense so bad. It's just
Yeah.
it's rough. I don't know. For me, I'm picking the Chargers to win this one. The reason I'm picking the Chargers is the Chargers play good against the Broncos, and the Chargers are healthy. They were not healthy last year. When they were healthy, they looked good.
Yep, I actually have to agree. That one was a rough one for me because I really think the Broncos have a good chance to win this game.
They do. It's a total toss-up, but I think that the
Yeah.
Chargers might just edge them out a little.
And I think the Chargers are very good at throwing away games that they could win. So
They win games that they shouldn't win, and they lose games they should win.
yeah, so that's a really rough one for me. But Got to go with the Chargers. Fantasy.
Melvin Gordon.
Yeah.
They're gonna run the ball like crazy, and Melvin Gordon, the way he played last year, he's gonna pick it right back up.
Yeah, he's a fantasy stud. Man, you can't pick Rivers because that defense is too good. Keenan Allen, maybe.
Why don't you go with your sleeper, your best friend?
Who's that?
Jamal Charles.
Jamal Charles. I wish. He's not the starter yet, though. He's got to wait like 2-3 weeks until C.J. Anderson starts. I don't know.
Fumbling
being
the ball
awful.
or something.
Yeah, he's not that great. Demaryius Thomas? No.
I mean, I guess I don't know. It's Emmanuel Sanders.
Emmanuel Sanders. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't see that.
I don't know. I
don't see C.J. Anderson. Who's the tight ends? Oh, there you go. Antonio Gates.
Okay, Antonio Gates.
There's my fantasy stud right there. How weird is that? Only because he's got like 3 touchdowns. No, he has 1 touchdown away from breaking the all-time touchdown record, I believe. Because he tied it last year, and that's why he's coming back this year. So truly, I don't even think he's going to play like a big role this year. But I think when they get to the end zone, they're going to like throw him 2 or 3 times.
Just so he gets his...
Yeah, so I think he'll get the record. He may get like 2 or 3 more, and then he's going to retire. That's my personal thought. So look for that early, because they want that new guy, Hunter Henry, to come in. I have him on my fantasy team, but I'm not starting him week 1 because I really think Gates is going to get the touchdown. Which I wish I had another roster spot, because I'd be playing Gates week 1. But I can't do it. I'd have to drop somebody. I don't know.
Joe Mixon, who you have on every league?
Yeah, I should drop him. That's been rough. So, all right, with that,
this is a long one. There's a lot of games.
Out. Yeah, that was rough. A little rough to. My mind hurts.
So much thinking. So the only games we disagreed on were Oakland and the Titans.
Oakland and the Titans, yeah. Washington and
the Eagles.
It's 2.
There's one more, wasn't there? Seattle and Green Bay.
3. I picked
and the
Green
Giants
Bay.
and Dallas. So
4
games.
I picked the Giants.
4 games that can affect our. Oh, and New Orleans.
Yeah. 5.
So 5.
Saints.
5 games. All right, that's good. That's a
Saints.
good mix up between the two of us. That way, it like at least settles something.
Saints are my dark horse team this year. That's it. We're out. Pound it. No, I'm good.
Turkey. Whip turkey.
Oh man.